Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it's an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news, TV and streaming. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Hey.
Jonathan Voico.
Good morning.
Paris Rose is here.
Hello.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making this little show part of your day. And here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about some predetermined topics. Then in the second part of the show is the most important part. We're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, comment, observation, question, or whatever that you'd like us to address, go ahead and use the tip link at www.streamelements.com/John Campea/tip. And as long as your question is appropriate for us to address on the show, we'll address it on the show. But by the way, if you're one of the 90% of the people who watch the John Campea Show that can't watch it when we're streaming live, and you also have a thought or a question, the tip link is available to you 24/7. So you can send in your topic or question anytime you want. And if it's when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next live question. All right. With that all down, guys, let's get things kicked off here, shall we? Paris, what we got up first?
Yeah, so with Evil Dead director Fede Alvarez taking over Alien Romulus, it should come as no surprise that the film is taking a definitive horror direction. But now the stars are speaking out, suggesting the horror is so intense it may scar some viewers for life. So, John, haven't seen the CinemaCon footage. Is what the cast is saying lining up with what you saw?
Yeah, it really is. Because listen, when you think about aliens, right? To me, there are two Aliens movies. There's Alien and there's Aliens. In my head canon, none of the rest of them exist. All right, but that being said, it's a lot like Terminator, right? The first film was kind of like really more definitively a horror film. Mm-hmm. That was true of both Alien and Terminator. And then the second film kind of became a sci-fi action classic. Right, that happened with both of them. And that's definitely what Alien did. Like, that first one is terrifying. Yeah. It's I almost don't even call it a horror movie. It's a terror movie in many ways. And then, of course, then we got to Aliens. They shifted gears and made it like this sci-fi action film, one of the greatest of all time. Now, at CinemaCon, when we saw the footage for Alien Romulus, listen, I gotta tell you, I was surprised because I thought making this movie was a mistake. I'll be honest, I thought making this movie was a mistake. I really did. And I thought, because everything Alien and Predator lately, Prey would notwithstanding, at least to put Prey aside, I really thought this was kind of too little too late. They shouldn't be doing this sort of thing, all that kind of stuff. And then I saw the footage at CinemaCon. And oh my God, I was thrilled by it. I thought it looked incredible. But what was clear was they decided to take it back to that original Alien. Because while there's definitely action in this, and they definitely have some action beats in the footage that we've seen, and I'm sure the movie will have more, the clear sense we got at CinemaCon was this was a horror film. And going right back to it. And I guess it shouldn't surprise us with Fede Alvarez doing that. Now, this is some of the comments that his cast have been saying. This comes to us from Total Film wrote, I really do believe that there are specific sequences in this film that will scar some kids that sneak into the movie for life, Isabella Merced said, who plays one of the movie's young space scavengers. You can definitely say goodbye to a 12A, her co-star David Johnson adds, with a hearty laugh. The halfway house with Fede Alvarez, the director, is just not his style. If you're going to try and scare people, then you scare them. He goes on to say, he doesn't know how to not put that spin on it. The movie's lead, Civil War's Kaylee Spaney notes, referring to his visceral reimagining of Evil Dead. That is just his instinct. He's waiting to do something strange and twisted. And you know he's got it when you're right on the edge of going, should we do this? That's when you know, okay, Fede is in his sweet spot. Now, look, I want to point out, don't want to talk about this simply because it's, actors saying good things about their movies that are coming out. I think it's the specifics here. And goes to the larger, more interesting conversation of how it looks like this movie, because a lot of the other Alien stuff that came out later just tried to follow in Aliens' footsteps. They try to be the actioneer film. Even in the Predator versus Alien stuff, they try to make it the actioneer kind of stuff. I think this is the first time really that we're seeing somebody trying to take it back to those horror roots. Now, John, you've seen both of these films, like Alien, Aliens.
Yeah.
At this point, do you think this is the right move for them to like go back to that first film and go more for the horror elements?
This is the reason why Prey worked, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're going back to your
Good
roots.
point.
Okay, it's not like, oh yes, now let's take ourselves so seriously and let's discover the science of how these aliens were created, and oh yes, the first.
Oh, you didn't like the engineers, did you?
Before it evolved, and like, okay, this isn't the kind of movie you set up mystery, but this isn't the kind of mystery you want to open up and then explore the answer, because you're going to get let down by it. So you go back to the roots, and that's why Prey worked for Predator, and that's why I think this, or an Aliens type of action adventure, could work for Alien. But don't try to get further into the ethos and just like drink your own Kool-Aid on this thing, man. Just get back to the roots. It's a horror movie. People want to see that.
Yeah.
That's why it works.
And I think it's the reaction we saw at CinemaCon was really damn positive. And I'm glad you brought up Prey again, because I guess, I was saying I didn't think it was the right idea to try to go back and do another Alien film. The only thing that gave me pause was the fact, well, that Prey movie was awfully damn good. That worked pretty damn well. So who knows? Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? It sounds like what they're doing with this new Alien Romulus movie is taking it back to its horror roots with Fede Alvarez there. Is that the right move on their part? Maybe they should lean more into action. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. Listen, before we move on to the next topic, I almost forgot. The countdown continues, ladies and gentlemen. It is now just 8 days.
Woo!
8 days until Deadpool and Wolverine graces, nay, blesses our movie theaters. 8 more days to go, ladies and gentlemen. I am so stoked. All right. With that down, let's move on to our next topic here, shall we, Paris? What we got up next?
Yeah, so what could end up being the biggest film of 2024, Deadpool and Wolverine, is finally opening in theaters next week. It's here. So while the excitement is high, many fans have expressed some concern that the film will just be all jokes and blood without the heart that the first 2 Deadpool movies delivered. So, well, Kevin Feige just addressed that, expressing that he thinks Deadpool 3 may be the most wholesome and heartfelt rated R movie ever. So, John, what do you think of Feige's comments?
I think if I had to put a word to Kevin Feige's comments, it's timely. Timely. Because you're right. I mean, I have fielded so many questions and comments from people about, okay, yeah, the Deadpool trailers are funny, but if this is just yuck, yuck, laugh, laugh, then, it's just going to be another throwaway kind of movie, which, number one, I don't think that's true. If this movie made us laugh from start to finish and had no other substance, but we as an audience laughed our guts out from start to finish, then the movie works. It just does. But the great thing about the Deadpool movies, look, you go back to the first Deadpool movie specifically. That movie's a romantic comedy disguised as a comic book action film. Because that movie had so much heart. It had so much heart, so much character development, A, B, and C narrative storylines going on. And then, yes, the flashy, super R-rated stuff with the violence and the swearing and the pegging and everything else that was going on there. It all worked, but at its heart was heart, right? And Deadpool 2 did that as well. Maybe not quite as well as the first one, but the second one did it as well. So a lot of people, the one hesitation we've heard from a lot of people is, well, yeah, but this is just going to be all flash and nothing else. Because that's all they've been showing us in the trailers. But Kevin Feige decided this was a good time to come out and kind of address that when he said this. Hugh and Ryan have talked about this, and I think people can tell from the trailer and from the press tour so far, yes, it's R-rated. Yes, there's some language and blood. Looks like there's more than some. Yes, there's some language and blood. But the film is incredibly emotional. I keep calling it the most wholesome R-rated film that anybody can ever see. It really is a celebration of friendship and family and found family. I don't want to overdo it. Well, you already kind of crossed that line, Kevin. I don't want to overdo it, But for all the R-rated raunchiness that gets attention, when people see the movie, it's going to be about how heartfelt it is. In my opinion, much more than the first two Deadpool films. That's what I'm really excited about. Once people get past the F words and the R rating, to see just how sweet it is. All right. Now, I do want to point out, because it should be mentioned, that Kevin Feige is the executive producer of this movie. He's also the head of the studio putting it out. So he's not going to come out and say, well, you know, we tried to make it as good as the first Deadpool film, and well, what are you going to do? We tried. No, he's going to come out and talk big about it. But what he's saying here is really reflective of what we've been hearing both Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds talk about. And I think one of the reasons when Sean Levy, the director of the film, got on stage at CinemaCon and told all of us before they showed us the 9 minutes of footage, say, look, we had to work really hard just to find 9 minutes we could show you because there is so many surprises. There's so much to this film that we don't want to show anybody. And one of the things he referenced too was the fact that, look, they could have gone into production the moment they said they wanted a Deadpool 3, right? Because how hard and how long does it take to write a lot of, you know, pegging jokes and F-bombs and cutting people's heads off? A high school student can put that together, right? They waited, they talked about, for years to find the right heart, to find the story, to find why Deadpool would matter, a Deadpool 3 would matter. And it reminds me a lot of when Ryan Reynolds, when the first Deadpool movie was coming out, and I'm not getting his wording exactly, so I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but when Ryan Reynolds was talking about the first Deadpool movie, and he's saying, it can't just be another comic book film, right? You've got to make a good film. You can't just make a comic book film. You have to make a good film, which means having the right story, the right characters, you know, the right arc for all of them, the evolution of the characters, you got to have all those things. You got to make a good movie first, then make it a good comic book movie. So I've never really doubted that Ryan and the writers, Rhett Reese and Werner, I think it is, that the writers and Ryan Reynolds would probably take that approach. So for me, understanding with the large caveat that this is, of course, the head of the studio that's putting the movie out, but still, for Kevin Feige to come out and make these comments about it, directly addressing, look, we wanted this thing to have heart, we wanted it to have emotion, we wanted people to walk out feeling good. And then you add that to the outrageousness of Deadpool. Look, if they actually manage to do that, and that's a big if, admittedly, we'll know in 8 days. But if they've actually managed to do that and really combine those elements that make a great film with those elements we've already seen in the trailer that make a great comic book film, sky's the limit for this movie. Like, sky is the absolute limit for this movie. Now, I also want to remind everybody that Kevin Feige said that he thought Eternals was the best movie that Marvel had ever made. I liked Eternals. It was not the best movie Marvel had ever made. I like that movie, but it was not the best movie Marvel ever made. Still, we'll see what happens from here. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about Kevin Feige's comments? I mean, the reason I think they're timely is because a lot of people are raising these questions. Okay, it's going to have the flash and bang, but will it have, the actual guts to it? He's saying it does. Do you buy it? We're 8 days away. What are your expectations for this film? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to our next topic here, shall we? Paris, what do we got up next?
Right. This morning, the biggest awards in television, the Emmys, announced their 2024 list of nominees. And in the biggest award category of Best Drama, shows like Shogun and the Amazon video game-based series Fallout got nominations for the top prize. So, John, what do you think of the nominees list?
I think it is incredible that, we often hear complaints saying, the award shows, they don't like the stuff that fans like. But the last couple of years, we've seen that's not true at all. If you make quality, doesn't matter what the genre is. I mean, just in recent years, we've seen shows like Last of Us get nominated for Best Drama. That's the top prize in television, Best Drama. We've seen shows like The Boys get nominated for top prize at thing. Like we're seeing these types of shows. And this year, of course, Shogun, I think is a lock. But Fallout getting a nomination for Best Drama Series, for Best TV Show is a huge win, not only for the folks at Amazon, not only for the fans of video game content that, hey, listen, more and more we're seeing it evolve. It used to be for 30 years that video game movies and TV shows suck. That was just a rule. That was a law. But we've seen that starting to change a lot lately, particularly with Last of Us, now with Fallout. As a matter of fact, when we go to the list, Shogun topped the list, the most nominated show this year with 25 nominations. The Bear follows up with 23. Only Murders in the Building, that show is so good, with 21. True Detective Night Country getting its due, because that's a really good show. And no, it's not as good as season 1. It's not. But it's awesome, and I'm glad it's getting some love. The Crown, of course, Saturday Night Live with 17, and Fallout getting 16 nominations. 16 nominations, which is great. Okay, let's go over then the actual list of the shows nominated for the top prize, Best Drama Series. They are The Crown, Fallout, The Gilded Age, The Morning Show, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which is the one show on this list that I don't think it deserves a place on. I mean, I love Donald Glover. Love him. This show wasn't it, but whatever, it's on the list. Shogun, of course, Slow Horses, and D&D Do It Again.
I was surprised to see Slow Horses on that list. I mean, I love it.
Because you love that
but
show.
I'm just surprised I didn't think anyone else was watching it. I love it.
I didn't see it.
Well, it's on its, third season now? People are watching it.
Yeah.
But also, like I said, D&D Do It Again, the old showrunners from Game of Thrones with their new show, Three Body Problem, which I loved.
Yeah.
I had my apprehensions about Three Body Problem, but I absolutely loved it. By the way, just as a side note, I'm going to throw in the best comedy series. Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, Palm Royale, Reservation Dogs finally getting a nomination in this category. And my favorite on this list, What We Do in the Shadows. But want to go back up to Outstanding Drama Series. Now, look, I think this is I've said this for a while. I think they can just engrave the trophy now. It's Shogun. Shogun's the best drama series. The moment they announced that Shogun was no longer a limited series and was going to be moving into the best drama series, it's like everybody else just gave up. It's like, oh, crap. Because, of course, in case you missed it, they have greenlit seasons 2 and 3 of Shogun. So we're getting 2 more seasons of Shogun, which I'm very excited about. But that, of course, changed it from being in the best limited series category, where it would have contended against shows like Baby Reindeer, Fargo, Lessons in Chemistry, Ripley, and True Detective Night Country. But it got moved into the best drama category. And I am completely stoked about this. And for the fact that it has the most Emmy nominations out of all the shows out there, I think is absolutely fantastic. And again, staying on the topic of genre content, getting more love at the big award shows like the Emmys. Three Body Problem again. I just thought that was great. I can't wait to see where they go with this thing. And I'm really excited about what I see. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about the list? Do you think any of them on this list being nominated for Best Drama didn't deserve to be? I personally don't think Mr. and Mrs. Smith deserved a place, despite the fact that I'm a huge Donald Glover fan. I just didn't think it was there. But all the other ones look great. Three Body Problem, Shogun. And what do you think about Fallout? Nabbing a Best Drama Series nomination and 16 nominations in total. I think it's incredibly impressive. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we still got to talk about another Emmy category, animation, and a big showing for X-Men 97. Also, the newest trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine, I think might be the best one yet. We're going to talk about those things and a few things more. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Gametime. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, Gametime. My wife Ann and I love going to events, whether they're comedy shows, concerts, an LA Lakers game. I mean, just the other night we went to go see Ronnie Chang and it was awesome. We love having these new experiences and new memories. And our sponsor Gametime makes getting tickets for concerts and events faster and easier, even if you don't buy tickets right away. Because prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer you get to the show start time. With killer last minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying event tickets. I couldn't believe how easy and most importantly, intuitively, the entire app works. Finding the event I was looking for couldn't have been easier. The way it lays out the map of the venue, letting you know exactly where the seats are that you're looking for, and how easy the process was to choose and buy those tickets. So don't worry if you think you're too late to get tickets to that big event you and your friend want to go to. They have last minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever. So guys, take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code CAMPEA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CAMPEA, C-A-M-P-E-A, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And thank you to our friends at Gametime for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, we were just talking about the Emmy nominations coming out and the big surprises and some really well-deserved nominations in the top prize best drama series that are up there. But I think this year, there's going to be maybe more attention than ever being paid, especially amongst fandoms, in the best animation category, as the nominees for best animated show at the Emmys are Blue Eye Samurai, Ray's going to like this, Bob's Burgers, Scavenger's Reign, a show that I admit I have not seen. So I've not seen that one. Of course, the perennial The Simpsons.
I don't even understand it, but all right.
And here's the one that a lot of people are going to get excited about. X-Men 97 gets nominated for Best Animated Series at the Emmys. Now, this is going to make a lot of people very happy. I mean, X-Men 97 took off and became more popular than I think even Marvel Animation was anticipating it being. And I really enjoyed it. First of all, I used to love the old animation show. The fact that they were even doing X-Men 97 was kind of cool. And they did a really great job with it. Did a fantastic job. It's not going to win. It's not going to win. Nor should it win. John, you just said you love the show. I do love the show. I love it. But in every way, shape, and form, Blue Eye Samurai is the better animated show. That was another show to me. Blue Eye Samurai was a show to me that I was like, I have no interest in it. No interest in Blue Eye Samurai. I'm really not into that style of stuff. Doesn't sound very interesting, whatever. But I had a bunch of our viewers write in like the day it dropped and say, John, you really need to watch this show. Like, all right. So Anne was out for an evening. So like, I'll watch an episode or two. I binged the whole series in one night. Could not believe how great it's. And by the way, this is how you know it's great. Forget that it's animation. If this was live action, it would be competing with Shogun and House of the Dragon and all that kind of stuff for the best show out there. I was thoroughly ignoring this show and I was thoroughly wrong. It's unbelievable. This is absolutely going to be Blue-Eyed Samurai's category. But just for argument's sake, Ray brought up a really interesting question before we started the show today. Because there could be some added drama to all this. Let's say that a miracle happens and X-Men 97 wins. It won't, but let's say it does. Who goes up on stage? Because the creator, showrunner, and writer of X-Men 97 famously and summarily got fired just a week or two before the show dropped and started to air. And by the way, he already finished making season 2.
They'll just do a Tupac hologram.
So the question is, and if you again look at the credits on the Emmy nomination here, X-Men 97, remember it, Disney Plus, Marvel Studios, first name, Bo DeMeo. Creator, writer, executive producer, Bo DeMeo. Is this his nomination?
Well,
Or is it Disney Studios or Marvel Studios nomination? So in other words, Ray brought up the great question. Let's say they win. Is Bo there? And if so, does he get to go up on stage? And if so, does he? Because traditionally, the creator showrunner is the one who accepts the award. Does he get to give a little, does the fired guy get to give a little speech?
Because the last we read, he had some feelings. No. He did have some feelings about Marvel when he got let go because many people thought it was unfair.
just so you guys know, Ray's sick, so that's why he sounds like that.
Yeah, Ray's
It's not like he's been-
recovering.
I don't want
He's
people to
not
think he's,
getting
like,
super
sobbing
emotional
over
about
this.
this.
No, I'm just losing my voice, but
I was thinking he was emotional.
Yeah, I grew poor
I mean,
Bo DeMeo.
he had some feelings out there.
Oh yeah.
And in a perfect world, if that happened, both of them would act professional and, not even bring the dirty laundry onto such a stage as the Emmys. But who knows? It could have been bad because sometimes some people felt how he got fired was wrong. Like it wasn't.
Was it wrong though? I don't know that it was wrong.
It wasn't.
I'm not saying it wasn't wrong, but I don't know that it was wrong. We don't know all the details.
I guess, but there was some feelings there.
Sure, absolutely.
So it'd be interesting to see if that show did win, what would happen, what would occur. But I believe both of them hoping they would be professional enough to just thank the people they need to thank and just move on.
You know what it reminds me of? And my apologies for anybody who doesn't follow wrestling and hasn't followed wrestling in their lifetimes. But this is what it reminds me of and why Marvel and Disney might be a little bit nervous about it. For those of you wrestling fans, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I will refer us all back to what is known now infamously as the Montreal Screwjob.
Okay.
Now, for those of you who don't know what the Montreal Screwjob was, Bret the Hitman Hart, best there is, best there was, best there ever will be, excellence of execution, had already decided that once his contract ended, and his contract was ending with the WWF at the time, that he was moving over to WCW. And in his final match against Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart was supposed to win. But unbeknownst to Bret Hart, the powers that be behind the scenes decided Shawn Michaels was going to win, even though Bret Hart thought he was winning. And so the match happened, and out of nowhere, the referee called the match and gave it to Shawn Michaels, and Bret Hart was furious and angry. So why did it all happen? At the end of the day, what the WWF didn't want to have happen was what happened with one of their female wrestlers. Was it Sunny?
I think it was Alundra Blaze.
Was that who it was?
Right.
So the WWE female champion let her contract expire and then went over to WWE. But when she first appeared on WWE, when she first on WCW, she brought the WWE belt on WCW and dropped it in the trash and embarrassed the WWF, now known as the WWE. And so what the WWE and WWF didn't want to have happen was a repeat of that. They didn't want to have their heavyweight champion going over to WCW. That was going to be embarrassing. So the Montreal Screwjob happening. John, what the hell does that have to do with X-Men 97?
WWW.
With all the WWs, here's what this has to do with that. What Kevin Feige and Bob Iger's nightmare, I think, would be, is to invite Bo DeMeo, who by every right should be on that stage if they win.
should.
He's the creator, the writer, showrunner.
Yep.
He should be on that stage. But what their nightmare is, he gets up there, accepts the Emmy, and then turns to the rest of the Marvel executives and then goes, F y'all, and drop the trophy like a mic and walk
Well,
off.
you could do
That's
that.
their nightmare.
You could do that, but dude, you're never gonna work for anyone else
That's-
because then other producers are gonna be like, "Would he do that to me on my
Yeah.
show?"
The opposite side of the
Yeah, but you
coin.
know what? He
But
might
he
be
can
set
let us-
for life already.
Yeah.
Set for life in LA. That's hard to
Because
get.
honestly, being fired by Disney so publicly, how many job offers does he have right now? I mean, I'm asking that as a question. I don't know the answer to it.
He could
That's
use it on his
hypo-
OnlyFans.
What's that?
He could use
He's
it on
got
his
his
OnlyFans.
Well, you know what? This would be a great advertisement
Yeah.
for his OnlyFans.
You know what? To give credit. Like, we haven't heard anything after his firing. He hasn't really went on any interviews and said anything.
No, but he's been
really
very
else.
active on social media.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I just thought it would be very interesting to see what would happen.
Yeah,
The
again,
Emmys even invite him, just to completely avoid any of this.
Yeah,
they
you're
have
right.
to. I mean, he's the showrunner. He's the
I
creator of
would
the
like to
show
see
and the
him there.
showrunner. They'd have to invite him, but does Marvel let him on stage? Look, I am not suggesting that Bo DeMeo would be so petty as to do that. I'm not suggesting that. Let me be clear.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that's Disney's nightmare because they have no power over Bo DeMeo anymore. What are they going to do? Fire him? He's already been fired. He already made season 2 of X-Men 97 for them. He can't take that back. So I'm just saying I'm not saying Bo's going to do it. I agree with Ray. I would trust that both sides are just going to be professional. Bo DeMeo will get up there, accept the award. By the way, this is all moot because Blue Eye Samurai is going to win the award.
That's what I
But
say too.
Bo DeMeo will get up there, accept the award, thank the incredible voice actors who worked on it and the incredible animators who worked on it. This was a dream come true. And then, hand it over to one of the Disney executives to say a word or two, and then they'd all walk off stage. I'm just telling you that will be in the back of the Disney executives' minds as a nightmare situation for them.
And that one award would be the only reason I would probably tune into any minute of the Emmys, because I don't usually watch the Emmys, just to see that award announced. Even though I'm pretty sure everyone in here is, I'm sure that Blue Eye Samurai is going to win. It's just going to be one of those awards where I have to see when it's announced.
Well, we will see what happens. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this situation? Let's say, for argument's sake, that X-Men 97 does win, which I don't think it will. I don't even think it has a remote chance, but I'm super excited that it got nominated. Does Bo DeMeo come up on stage? Will that be awkward? Is everybody going to watch it like tuning into the next Oscars to see if Will Smith slaps anybody else? I don't know. Whatever you guys think.
It's not that.
Maybe you'll have Will Smith come on stage and slap the Disney executives. I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to the next topic here, shall we, Perry? What do we got, Perry? Paris, what do we got next?
I like the new nickname. So as previously mentioned, Deadpool and Wolverine is now just 8 days away, and the marketing for the film continues to ramp up. As a part of that, yesterday Marvel released a new red band trailer online that gave us a glimpse of the Deadpool core, some great new blind outlines, and even Deadpool doing his best Spider-Man imitation. So, John, what do you think of the latest Deadpool trailer?
You know what? Okay, first of all, I think this new online only red band spot is the best one they've put out so far. I really do. I think it's the best one they put out so far. I absolutely love this spot, and there's so many things to like. First of all, the joke, showing him stapling his toupee to his head.
It's so gross.
That they showed that to us at CinemaCon, and that just killed me, the way he puts his toupee on when he's at work. I just love that. The whole thing with the dog. I love, first of all, the shorthand and timing. There, you can just tell when two actors on screen. We've seen this with like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and others. You can tell when two actors on screen are real life besties, right? You can just tell. The shorthand and timing between them is just that much better. And in that, there was never more appropriate and visible than in this trailer when they find that dog that is so ugly it's adorable, the dog pool. And he's like, this little guy's coming with us. No, he's not. Oh, yes, he is. Fuck, he's not. Oh, yeah. Like, just the timing of that exchange was so crisp and so clean. It was absolutely beautiful. It was wonderful. I've always loved the dynamic between Wade and Negasonic. So what's with your fake o'clock shadow? I loved that. And then, of course, Yukio. She's so positive and so great. I love your hair system, Wade. I mean, she is just spoonfuls of adorableness.
Hair system.
But yeah, I love your hair system. I just think she's great. She's wonderful. All that's wonderful. Of course, then we got this shot here of a more full body view of Lady Deadpool, which everybody is speculating about. Is it Taylor Swift?
I still think that's Taylor.
You do?
Yeah.
You know what? Now that I see the body, I don't think it is.
I just think the outfit looks great. It looks.
The outfit looks great. I'll tell
Might not
you.
be either people we think it is. Could be anybody.
Well, I'll tell you who
Taylor
it
or
is.
who else?
It's Ann Campea.
Oh. Well, you
It's
guys got a
Ann
paycheck
Campea.
There
coming.
we go.
For those of you who don't know, my wife also does a lot of cosplay. And look at the hair. I was just saying, look at the hair. Then look at the hair. Look at the hair. And then
Spot
Ann
the
here
difference.
too. And Ann does a lot of cosplay.
They already
yeah.
shot the movie though, John. It's too late.
Oh, well, she did leave town for a while.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah, she was gone for about a month. I was like, where are you going?
Confirmed.
Where are you going?
We just confirmed it.
But honestly, the when I look at this picture again, I think it is Blake Lively.
I'm going with Tay Tay.
Really?
That
That doesn't look like her body.
Yeah.
I just go with Tay Tay.
That's more Blake.
That's definitely looks way more like Blake Lively's
I
body.
mean, it would be awesome if it's Blake Lively, but
Could
I
be
just
either.
feel it's.
I mean, it could be neither.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It could be neither.
Yeah, Jeremy Miller's saying that looks like Taylor Swift's hair. I guarantee you, whoever is wearing that
It's a
costume,
wig.
that's a wig.
Yeah.
100% telling you that's a wig. That whoever is wearing it,
I'm gonna
that's
actually-
there.
It's a hair system, actually, John.
You know,
It's
did
a
they
hair system.
did they actually show her walk? They show her walking, right?
Yes,
little-
a little
like a-
bit. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Millisecond.
compare. Should get some
What's
walking
that?
videos of each of them.
Well,
We're
yeah.
gonna
Well,
investigate this.
Yeah, but they'd be walking in character, not just walking down the street. So
Sir Malcolm saying is Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. That wouldn't be awkward on set.
oh, you know what? They're right. It's Chris Pratt in a wig.
It's Chris. It's got to. Or, of course, Paul Walter Hauser.
Yeah.
It's Paul Walter Hauser in Deadpool. So, I mean, there's that too. And look, this is again, the marketing has not let up. Because right on the heels of this as well, the next bit of brand related marketing. First of all, did you see the Heinz commercial?
Heinz. Oh,
They said
no.
when you see it, you can't. You look it up later, Jonathan. It's called Deadpool. When you see it, you can't unsee it. And basically, it's Heinz. And when they have Deadpool Wolverine on screen, it suddenly does a quick flash of ketchup, Heinz ketchup, and Heinz mustard
You're right. It's
as
mustard
red and yellow.
ketchup.
You should look at it. It's pretty
Oh
funny.
yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. All right.
They
Yeah,
thought
I'll
of
check it out.
everything.
But
Yeah.
what is
Speaking of butt.
speaking of butts,
Real
the
nice,
the
round butts.
branded advertising continues as Xbox. Whoop, whoop. Hey, this is official. This isn't fake. This isn't some fake
They're like
fan.
clip-on,
Yeah,
like
fan
clamp-on.
thing. It looks like they've got the cheeky. They're calling the cheeky Xbox controllers.
But you got to win them. You can't buy them.
Yes.
that-
Well, you will be. I'm sure you'll be able to buy them at some
No,
point.
no, they
on
haven't.
eBay for
The problem with that,
triple the
that's
price.
my only problem with any of the movie limited edition controllers, is you always have to win them. And I hate it.
I have
hope
a
it's different
feeling
for this one.
but this is different. This is Marvel. This is Disney. This is Deadpool. I'll bet it's like you got to win them, but I bet at some point they're going to go on
I
sale.
think they
you
gave
got
this
the
butt too
stand.
much credit on that controller. Like, that butt is super round on that controller.
Yeah, it's a
Is
little
that
butt.
101 or what?
That's a BBL butt.
But I mean, yeah, it might be good for like grip. So, you know.
You have
It's
to grip
coming like
the
so.
crack.
Listen, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this.
Maybe it's squishy.
I think after watching this newest trailer, I'm like, okay, now I officially don't want to see anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're still not showing us a
No,
lot more.
they're like with the 20 TV spots and trailers, 90% of it is all the same footage.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they showed us some more that obviously Wolverine goes back to this apartment, but then that's it. Really, it's still the same scenes.
Different angle of them jumping into the portal.
Yeah, it's all they have been so vigilant
Yeah.
about not showing us hardly anything. And so this was the first TV spot that showed us a bit more. By the way, oh my God. Blind Al is one of the unsung heroes of this entire franchise. When she comes in, she goes, what does she say? Some devil's dandruff?
Yeah, she's like, "Are you packing?
Are you packing? Are you holding?
Yeah,
I
you
need
holding
some
them,
devil's
devil's
dandruff with more cocaine puns.
I'm shaking like an angry vibrator."
Ow, we have company.
We've seen almost every Fox side character in all these trailers that have been in the Deadpool movies, right? Correct? We got that.
In the Deadpool movie.
Well,
we
yeah,
got
I
the
mean,
car
we've
sales.
seen Cyclops, Negasonic, Yukio,
Al.
Blind Al.
The car
Obviously,
salesman guy.
what's his name isn't going to be back.
Yeah. Yeah, because
actor
they had a fallout.
Actor from the first film.
Yeah. And the second film too.
What's his name?
The bartender.
T.J.
T.J. Miller.
T.J. Miller.
They had a falling out?
No,
Well,
he's
Well,
just
T.J.
outside.
Miller ran into like a rough patch, and then there was like
Didn't he
seemingly
also?
bad
Didn't
blood.
T.J. Miller also like call in a bomb threat on a train because a woman made him mad?
Yeah, that was his like his
Yeah,
2 cents.
he
But I think
totally-
he's come back from that. But
So he sabotaged his own career. Then he got
Yeah.
mad at Ryan Reynolds for not wanting to work with him anymore.
then he kind of just talks crap about Ryan, and it's like we weren't in the room, so no one knows anything. But it's just like, can we just like keep that between you guys?
Yeah.
Which is too bad because I've met TJ Miller a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like I sat down with him for both Big Hero 6 and for the one Transformers movie he was in. He's a lot of fun in a
Yeah.
room, but I mean, the guy just kind of sabotaged his own career. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I love this new trailer. I think it's fantastic. And we're now just 8 days away from Deadpool and Wolverine hitting screens. Are you feeling like me? Are you like, okay, good. Even though you've showed us hardly anything, I feel like I've seen enough. I don't know that I want to see anymore at this point. We're only 8 days away. Who do you think is Lady Deadpool? Oh, and by the way, the best line that has been in any of these trailers so far. The kid looks in awe and says, "It's Wolverine." And Deadpool's like, "That's right. Disney brought him back. They're going to make him play this till he's 90. I just about died, which a lot of people are saying that was Marvel's way of telling us that Hugh Jackman is staying on to be in the Avengers movies.
Yeah, they
I
cracked the
think the
code.
opposite.
cracked the
Whatever
code.
way, I love this thing. Question is for you guys. Whatever you think about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're now going to move on to the most important part of our show, which is your live comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take another quick second and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Liquid IV. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Liquid IV. You know, the Summer Olympics are here. I cannot wait for basketball, track and field. Hell, they've even got breakdancing in France this year. And with the Summer Olympics in full swing, hydration is key for athletes and fans. Liquid IV is extraordinary hydration for physical endurance, mental clarity, and overall well-being. A single stick of Liquid IV delivers better hydration than water alone with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. One of the things I love about Liquid IV is how easy it is for me to prepare. All I have to do is tear, pour, and enjoy. In the heat of the summer, whether you're out golfing, out walking, or just sitting on the back patio, you need to stay hydrated, and that's where Liquid IV comes in clutch. Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, and it comes in 4 delicious sugar-free flavors: white peach, green grape, raspberry melon, and lemon lime. So turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code CAMPEA at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code CAMPEA at liquidiv.com. And thank you to our friends at Liquid IV for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, with that down, let's get on to the important stuff, your live comments and questions. Paris, what do we got up first?
All right, Mr. I says, I can see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman coming out to say they are in Avengers 5, but also to announce that Sean Levy is directing and bring him out.
Sorry, can I see that again? I can see Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman.
Throwback from yesterday.
Say that,
Yeah,
but
I-
also
for
announced that
Comic-Con.
Sean Levy is directing Bring Him Out. Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of big questions going on about right now. There's actually a news story breaking that I saw a little bit earlier on Deadline that we're going to hold off on and maybe talk about tomorrow. But it sounded like, look, Kevin Feige, what we know for a fact is Kevin Feige offered Sean Levy to do whatever he wanted. Sean Levy has decided to work on a Star Wars film next. So I think that's off the table, Sean Levy. So there are other people it could be. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. All right, what's next?
All right. Aiden Foley says, regarding my comment on Giancarlo being power broker yesterday. Yep, I'm an idiot. My bad. Totally forgot that Sharon was that character already.
No problem. You know what? The
happens,
thing is, these shows happen, and then it's been years since it's been on, so that's a detail to skip your mind. No problem. No apology needed. We get it. It happens to me. It happens to everybody. All right, what's next?
Garden Variety Vagabond says, I think the fact that the leak says that a director will be announced for Secret Wars but doesn't say who, if they got the info from the alleged Slack hack, they would say who the director will be. On Slack, a conversational app, they would give names.
Well, nobody said that it came from the Slack leak.
Yeah, the stuff from yesterday didn't come from Slack.
Yeah, nobody ever suggested that report came from the Slack leak. You're equating two separate stories, so they're not connected. But again, all of us anticipated, we've all believed that at the upcoming San Diego Comic-Con, they would be announcing who the directors are going to be. That's just been something all of us as fans have been assuming is going to happen. So I believe that one is true. All right, what's next?
Garden Variety Vagabond says, Young Avengers totally makes more sense as a Disney Plus option. Even on TV, production schedules are tough in order to get done before the actors are 50 years old. Looking at you, Stranger Things. Potter Show needs to shoot nonstop and cast them at 3 years old.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, when you look at the Potter movies, they aged perfectly along with the story, right? It was perfect. So this belief that, because I've been hearing some people saying they got to shoot like all the seasons of the new Harry Potter series back to back to back to back to back to back.
Why? Because
no, they don't.
By the time you get to Deathly Hallows, you do not want a little kid.
Yeah.
No.
He's supposed to be an adult.
What they don't want to do is
older
do the
teen.
streaming habit
Yeah.
of having
3
2 to
years,
3 years in between every season. That they can't
That
do.
would be a problem.
They do have to film a season per year like a normal television show. They have to do that, but they don't have to rush it. They got time. They got years to do it because
it can't
these characters
be like Stranger Things though. Stranger Things, they are so old now.
Stranger Things it looks really obvious. Yeah.
They did a time jump, but they've gone beyond that time jump.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you know what? I don't care. It's still, the show's great.
I don't
Yeah,
care
I'll
either. Who
still
cares?
watch it.
I'm not sitting there watching it because of their age isn't accurate.
Yeah.
I don't know about Vecna.
All right, what's next?
Mag Detector Wookie says, well, John, the Acolyte season 1 ended, with the ending leaving it open to a renewal for season 2. The lightsaber battle and ship chase looked cool in this episode, but I still haven't detected that good script. I wish, like May, my mind was erased.
Wow. I wouldn't know. I don't watch it. I tapped out after episode 5. I don't watch it. I'm not surprised to hear that listen, I give even things I hate, I'll give credit to the elements they do well. I thought the lightsaber action in the first few episodes of Acolyte were great. That was not the problem with the show. Terrible script, terrible dialogue, no B storyline. That was all the problem with it. So I'll have to take your word for it, but I did not see the
I
finale.
heard the first 2 minutes they showed a clip of the upcoming Sean Levy Star Wars movie, but they only
You're
only showed it
Yeah,
to the
that's it.
first people who watched it the first time. It's not, you can't find any more, John.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, what's next?
Anonymous, thank you for the $20, by the way.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Says, hey, John, over under 65% that at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine's credits, we get a Deadpool will return in the MCU message, with maybe a slow fade in of and Wolverine. I think this would be a great reveal to build hype.
Well, since I don't believe that Wolverine is going to be, I mean, look, we're getting a new Wolverine. There's going to be a new Wolverine in the MCU, but I believe this is, I don't know that for a fact. It is possible Hugh could come back. I'm not saying for a fact. I'm just saying, me as a fan, I'm guessing that I do not believe Hugh Jackman is coming back again. So yeah, that's a standard Marvel thing to do. You don't even have to say in the MCU. It's already in the MCU now. You just say Wolverine will return. That's all you got. That's what they did with Star-Lord. Say Star-Lord will return. That's what they did at the end of Shang-Chi. The 10 Rings will return. So yeah, I expect we'll get something like that, but I don't think in Wolverine. Although you never know.
And usually when they do that, it's a sign that they have a plan for that character already.
Oh yeah,
They already have a plan. I don't know if they have a plan for these two characters yet.
Oh, I'm sure they got a
At
plan
least
for
the Ryan
Deadpool.
Reynolds and Hugh Jackman versions of these characters.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any more Hugh Jackman. I think this is it, but we'll find out. All right, what's next?
Chris Pazuzzi says, hello, everyone. John, I know you mentioned you tapped out of the Acolyte after episode 4.
But here we go.
Please tell me you still finished it. Last week episodes
No, he
were
tapped
so
out.
much better.
No,
Guys,
that's
They
funny
want
because
you
the
to
last
finish
person,
it.
the
I know
last
you
person
guys
we
don't
heard
believe
from
this.
did not say it was so much better. Look,
God, they don't believe John.
I don't hate watch things. I get it. I know how much traffic and how many clicks and how many views. I know how many views I would get if I kept watching The Acolyte and then every week got to put out 2 or 3 videos of Acolyte sucks so much. I know I could. I know I could get so many stupid amount of views. But I like to celebrate the things that I enjoy. You know, I don't hate watch things. If I'm watching a show and I just decide, you know what, clearly this is not working for me. Doesn't mean it can't work for other people. Doesn't mean it can't be enjoyed by other people. But when I can tell something is not for me and not working, I don't care how many views I'm losing out on. I don't like to contribute to a toxic thing. And and it becomes toxic when you know you hate it and you just want to keep creating content about it to attract hate clicks. I don't do that. I gave the show a shot. I gave it till I think episode 5, and it was not working for me at all. So instead of just keep watching it and bitching and crying about it, I decided, you know what? I'm going to follow my own advice. Why spend time watching something I know I don't like when instead I can spend my time watching things I do like? So that's why I gave up on it. That's why I tapped out on it. All right.
There's so much great TV.
There's
you can't,
so
yeah.
much great
You can't
TV
waste
to
your
watch.
time.
Yeah.
I don't even have time to watch it.
All right. What's next?
Mike says the Acolyte ended beautifully. Seeing OSHA fulfill the "you must kill a Jedi unarmed by choking Soul to death." Oh, spoilers! Oh, with the Force as
I'll skip over. Skip over. Yeah.
Daniel P says, not sure what others thought, but oh my goodness, what a turnaround for the Acolyte. I love
Skip.
It's almost a joke at this point.
Like literally, the episode just came out a few hours ago, so we're not gonna.
Okay.
And I don't want to be accused. I don't want to be accused of spoiling things.
Here's
for
the
people.
best part, and no shade to the 3 people who just sent, and we appreciate.
No, not at all.
But we have said we don't watch the show, and like you guys are like blowing it up and spoiling it.
I think they just really want to get John on their side. But
Anyway.
you guys enjoyed, so that's awesome. All right, so Second from Disaster says, I wish Illumination Studios would cut a deal with Marvel and make a Minions Halloween short where Gru dresses up as Groot and just keeps saying, I am Gru. That's kind of funny. I think it would be genius.
That would be funny for 2 minutes. It would be funny for 2 minutes. Actually, it's funny. There's a new. I haven't watched any of them. There's a Disney property called The Descendants.
Yeah.
And there's I see billboards all over town for it, and it's called like Descendants: The Rise of Red. Mm-hmm. But whenever Ann sees it, I don't know why it cracks me up. Whenever Ann sees it, says Descendants: The Rise of Gru, and it's funny because The Descendants, nobody cares, but I'm going to say it anyway. The Descendants was the very first project that Ann took over when she was at Hasbro. Yeah. That was so. Whenever we see Descendants stuff around, there's a twinge of nostalgia for us because that was Ann's first property. All right, what's next?
Seconds from Disaster says, I turned 39 on Free Slurpee Day, 7-Eleven, and Superman comes out on my 40th birthday.
Nice.
7-Eleven is also the same day Gunn's father passed.
Aw.
Do you think he will keep this release date?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, the only thing, that's probably, I wouldn't doubt. Look, I've heard
makes it a
James
little more
Gunn
poignant.
talk about his father many times. It was not lost on him, the release date. And I'm sure, now, look, contrary to popular belief, directors do not pick release dates. That's not the directors don't have the authority to pick the release dates. That's the distribution company decides that. But I'm sure there was some conversation with James Gunn, understanding his particular circumstances. I think James Gunn would find it poetically appropriate. I really do. So, yeah. All right. What's next?
Ray loves trench coats. Do you, Ray? Says, with Blade being perpetually delayed, I guess they should rename the movie DeBlade.
That is a joke Ray would make.
Ray, did you write this?
Yeah, you'd think Ray. You would think
It's
Ray.
been me the whole time.
More like DeBlade.
With the blade.
All right. What's next?
Malik says, hey guys, have you seen They Clone Tyrone with John Boyega, Jamie
Yes.
Foxx, and Teyana Paris on Netflix? It has an old school blaxploitation vibe with some sci-fi elements and was one of my favorite movies last year.
It was not. We talked about it on the show a couple
I wanna
times.
see that movie so bad.
I did not think it was one of my favorite movies of the year. It was a pretty decent little film,
I
though.
liked it, yeah.
And I really like. I always like John Boyega, so he's always solid in it. But yeah, I thought it was. We spoke about it a few times last year. last year. I thought it was a pretty solid little movie. I did not think one of the best movies of the year by any stretch, but pretty solid.
I always think John Boyega is channeling Denzel Washington. Like I can't separate the two. They seem so like he seems like he's imitating him every time. But I love John Boyega. I do. Just he gets me every time.
All right, what's next?
All right, Raymond Verada says, I made through the end of The Acolyte, but after I watch the season finale of The Boys, I will be okay. I hope Disney doesn't make a plush toy of Basil, that little twit. I hope a bunch of Ewoks go after you. Justice for Saul.
I have no idea what we're talking about,
But you can talk about the finale of The Boys.
well, the finale. Well, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it hasn't.
I know, but he's looking forward to it. So
I'll tell you what. This season, how The Boys just continues year after year to make banger after banger. I can't wait. I mean, I'm actually quite upset that we only have one episode left.
Have they already gone through their whole season?
Coming up to the final episode.
This is the next episode is
the
last
season finale.
Wow.
And then they only have one season left.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm excited for the next episode, but also it's kind of depressing at the same time. It's like when you're eating a delicious bowl of spaghetti and meatballs, and then you realize there's only one meatball left, and you're excited you get to eat that meatball, but you're sad that it's the last one.
That's why you crunch it up and make it
four little meatballs. Yeah. All right. What's next?
Joe,
I
don't know how you knew that.
How did you both land on 4?
Like me and you said
Right, I
4.
was gonna say
That's
2.
what you do.
and
You
then-
cut it in half twice.
Yeah, 12.5.
So you got 4 little meatballs.
Oh my God,
You guys are greedy. All right. Joe Adonis T says, Hi, John, Jonathan, Paris, and Ray. I recently found out that Tu Wong Fu is now on Prime Video and was wondering, with the current political climate, if this could be Prime, pun intended, for a remake, or will it only stoke the fire on the issue?
Tu Wong Fu.
It has nothing to do with the issue. Who's going to remake that movie? That has nothing to do with the socio-cultural elements of the film
Can you give me context, please?
at all. Well, look it up. It's Patrick
I'm looking it up right now. Patrick Swayze?
Swayze. Thank you. Patrick Swayze is in it. So, like, I mean, you can probably tell all you need to tell just from the poster.
Okay.
But I mean, honestly, who would want to remake that movie
I got you. I
aside
got you.
from the socio-political stuff in it?
I
That
got
had
you.
nothing to do with it. I don't think anybody's looking to remake that film at all anyway. All right, what's next?
Jay Newbie says, I don't think Marvel will do a Young Avengers, but if they do, they should do it as an animated series at the same animation style from Ms. Marvel. They can even have Ms. Marvel narrate it. It could be a Teen Titans-esque fan fiction series for kids.
I don't think doing a Young Avengers is a good idea. They may end up announcing it on next Saturday. They may not. But I agree with you. If you want to do one, I think animation's the way to go. I really do.
I like his angle right there.
Yeah, I think that's
Ms.
the good
Marvel
approach.
style?
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Because first of all,
actually.
everything about Ms. Marvel was fantastic, but the animation style in it, particularly when they did those little animated sequences here and there, those things were done so well. I would totally watch an entire Disney Plus series for Young Avengers based on that animation style. I would love it. All right, what's next?
James F. says, I just binged The Acolyte beginning to end, and this might be my favorite Star Wars show.
Everyone who binges it says they like it better.
It might need to be binged. It's just so fresh and different. The last 4 episodes really did it for me, though. I've heard it was a slog as a weekly release. So, all right, you guys, spoilers.
Well, I mean, the one
It's
thing
already
I'll
been
say
out.
this is that
Yeah.
because in Star Wars canon, the Jedi don't know the Sith are back, and Soul found out there was a Sith, we knew in the early episodes that Soul clearly doesn't make it alive.
Okay.
Soul
All
doesn't
right.
make it out of this. We all knew that. That
Yeah.
became very, very clear.
right.
Listen, I think that the show was a big bag of shit.
Oh, gosh.
But that doesn't mean I can't appreciate that other people liked it. And I'm glad you liked it if you did. You know me, I want to like Star Wars content, but if it's not good to me, it's not good to me. And I personally found it to be unbearably awful.
How about
Unbearably awful.
How about so we don't have John repeating the same thing? The next acolyte question,
It's
Paris,
already- it's
you
already-
answer it, and then Jonathan answers.
No,
the
I
next
can't.
one, then
We can't
Adam.
because the next one talks about spoilers too.
Okay.
So
All right, what's next?
All
Pip.
right. And not what? Pip.
Pip.
Pip the Troll says, leaks are killing Marvel and DC. Now people watch these movies with a mental checklist of stuff they heard, and if the leaks don't line up, they trash the film. Remember, fans wanted to do a reverse House of M and bring in mutants in Doctor Strange, too. Sheesh.
It's not the leaks. That's speculation. It's not leaks that do that. It's speculation. People decide that. That's why when people ask me, John, what do you want to see in this movie? My standard pat answer is whatever they want to show me. And that's why I created the saying, speculation is fine. It's fun to speculate as movie fans. We love speculating as long as you don't let speculation become expectation. The big problem is not leaks or anything like that. The problem is when fans speculate and then they turn that speculation into their expectation. And then if the movie doesn't deliver what they thought should have been in the movie, then they rob themselves of the joy of the movie that is. And that's a problem. But that has to do with fans not keeping speculation. Again, I'm not saying fans shouldn't speculate. We absolutely should speculate. That's one of the most fun of being fans. But it's that fans go too far, too often, by taking their speculation and making expectation, think that's what the movie needs to do. And if it doesn't do this, then it sucks. And that's a problem. And they're just kind of killing their own joy. All right. What's next?
Anonymous says, what do you think of the new MCU controversy around Sabra? Sabra is the first and the only Israeli superhero. Marvel seems to forget its own history, and in an extensive reshot, changed her origin from Israeli Jew. Changed her origin from Israeli Jew to a Russian spy. What's your take?
Don't care. I honestly, that's my take. I don't care. Listen, we've seen many characters in comic book movies that have radically different origins from what they are in the comics. It happens all the time. I'm not going to pick and choose which time I have an opinion about it and which time I don't. So my opinion on this sort of stuff has always been, and by the way, none of that has been confirmed. That's rumor. The stuff you're mentioning is rumoredly. So I'm not going to get worked up about anything like that in general. And I'm certainly not going to get emotionally worked up over if it's just a plain rumor. We don't even know if it's true. All right. What's next?
Floating Kites says, a way to get what you want to provoke the universe. Do a video holding a signed affidavit promising to release the breakdancing tapes if the Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup, and watch them suddenly have the best season ever. Will you suffer for your love?
If there was actually somebody who made the decision for that to happen, I might, but on putting that up on base pure luck, because that would mean they would have won the Stanley Cup even if I didn't sign such a contract, right? So I have nothing to gain. So no, I will not be doing that. All right, what's next?
Anonymous, wait, no. I think we need a...
Is it floating, or did we do that one?
We did, yeah, that was the last one.
There you go.
Okay, Short Arm says, with Long Legs Marketing making out the movie, the movie to be the scariest movie of the decade, it brings up how horror is much like comedy in its subjectivity. For you guys, is there elements, tropes, or subgenres in horror that make a movie scarier for you?
Well, first of all, Long Legs is not one of the scariest films of the decade. It's just not. Okay, I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but it's just not. You're right. It's subjective. Different elements will work for different people on different levels. For me, personally, the Korean style of horror approach is more effective for somebody like me. They understand what you don't see scares you more than what you do see. Now, of course, every horror movie needs to have a good gross out thing. It needs to have some good jump scares. These are all things that need to be a part of it too, sure. But again, when I watch a lot of the Asian horror, particularly Korean produced horror, they just have this fundamental understanding of atmosphere is key. Atmosphere is everything in good horror. And quite often the things you don't see. That's why that M. Night Shyamalan film with the water, aliens don't like water being thrown on them.
Oh, Signs.
Signs, thank you. That's why, like, the first two acts of Signs for me are brilliant. Mm-hmm. I thought it kind of fell apart a bit in the third act, but the first two acts are brilliant because M. Night really employed that technique of atmosphere and the things you don't see. Because if you remember, they're watching the television. We have this disturbing footage, and it's like you don't see the alien running into a cornfield. The camera turns and you just see the back part of its leg disappearing into the cornfield, right? And that was freaky as hell because it's what they didn't show us. So to me, that's the element of horror when they get it right can be most effective.
Oh, I think we all have that one scene that we're all traumatized by, where if we could go back in time, we would unsee it. Do you have that in a horror film? Mine is the Grudge. There's the part of the Grudge where she's walking up the stairs, but you see the hand following her up. I wish till this day I never saw that scene, because every time I go up a flight of stairs, catch me on the wrong night, I will see that hand like gripping onto that banister, and I'll be like, "What?"
The original.
It.
What's that?
It.
Oh, with the clown.
Yes, the clown. I am still terrified of sewers.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
wish I
yeah.
never saw a clown in a sewer. That was one of the scariest movies for me. But I was
So-
also like 5.
The original Grudge, I think the name of it is Ju-on, is one of the creepiest films I've ever seen. And a guy, a buddy of mine, his name is Dave Lapsley. He went on to be on HGTV a little bit. Anyway, when he used to do some movie reviews with me back in like an old thing I used to do, and he saw Ju-on, he described, I'll never forget the way he described it, like how horrifyingly terrifying the movie is. He was like, it was like swallowing cups of shards of glass and then having a truck run over your stomach.
Oh.
And like, he said, that's how tense he felt. And I'm like, it was like the best description I've ever seen for a tension causing you physically in a movie. But yeah. All right. What's next?
Milk First, Then Cereal says, John, I know you don't care for or get as excited for prequel stories in general. Do you think this stems from the utter disappointment of the Star Wars prequels? Are there any prequel stories you do like or would be interested in seeing being made?
None that I'm interested in seeing being made, but just like the horribleness of time travel and multiverse, there are exceptions that I think are quite good, right? For example, I mean, Rogue One doesn't even really count as a prequel because it's not following the same characters, right? It's the events of a time period, but it's not following the same characters. So I don't even know if Rogue One even truly qualifies as a prequel. But like, I don't want to see, let's look at stories of the young Yoda. Remember Star Wars was looking for a while, like doing a story of a young Jabba and how he became like head of the Hutts and stuff like that. It's like, come on. I'm trying to think of a prequel movie or show that I really truly enjoyed. Again, I don't think Rogue One counts. I mean, I guess Andor counts because it's a prequel to Rogue One. So that one worked for me really, really well. But yeah, I guess part of it comes from how terrible the Star Wars prequels are, but also part of it just comes from I naturally am somebody, not everybody has to be like this. I really like stories moving forward. I want to know what happens next, sort of thing. That's just my natural inclination. And other people don't have to agree with me. That's totally fine. I'm saying that's just my personal preference. All right. What's next?
Rylan H says, since James Gunn / DC have said they are not coming to SDCC this year, is there a chance that Gunn will use his relationship with Feige to show a teaser / something for Superman during the Marvel presentation, maybe to demonstrate unity among the two studios?
Oh, fuck no. No. There's absolutely zero chance of that happening. No chance. If James Gunn wanted a Superman preview, he would have brought a Superman preview. I mean, it's just that simple. But no, you're not going to see Marvel, who has a lot to announce and 1 hour to do it, are not about to use their Hall H time to let a competing studio, no matter how good friends they are, it would just, no, absolutely zero chance, no chance in hell that happens. All right, what's next?
Summers here says, John, I'm curious if you have any interest in the new HBO documentary Faye about Faye Dunaway's life and career and what are some of your favorite roles of hers. I saw it at Cannes and it was very honest about her mistakes, personal struggles, and reputation.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not that interested in it. I tend not to be all that interested in biopics or documentaries about celebrities. I'm really more taken with, and not to say that there aren't biopics about musicians or actors that I haven't enjoyed. There are. But I'm just saying in general, I'm more interested in something like Oppenheimer. I'm more interested in something, about people who actually did something to change the world. I'm more interested in that sort of thing. So that doesn't mean I won't catch it and then love it, but I'd be lying to you if I told you I was interested in it, because that kind of stuff doesn't generally interest me very much. All right, what's next?
Dude from Quebec says, best movie experience in the Venice/Santa Monica area for Deadpool. I'll be around for a while and I'd love to find a place to watch the movie. Open to suggestions outside of those neighborhoods.
Well, it's not too far to go to either the AMC Century City or the AMC Burbank 16. I would really say that. What were you going to say, Jonathan?
Well, okay, so let me just best movie in Venice, Santa Monica area, Deadpool. I'll be around for a while. So assuming he's visiting, I would take the chance to go to the Chinese theater because it's an IMAX screen and it's historic.
That's where
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
going.
the single most famous movie theater in the world. And again, you're not too far from it if you're in Santa Monica.
But if like he just comes here for work, so they're here a lot, then I would go with your suggestions.
Yeah, so Burbank 16, AMC Century City, but I have to go with Jonathan's recommendation. You got to go if it's available.
Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
go to the most famous movie theater in the world. Go see it at the
It's
Chinese.
a beautiful screen.
Yeah, if you
it's
haven't got
great.
your tickets
Yeah.
for opening, yeah.
Huge IMAX screen. Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Benji the Husky says, Deadpool and Wolverine continue to prove they are master marketers. Did you see the new Deadpool-themed
Yep.
Xbox controller? Hilarious. Also, Paris, you've been a great addition to the show.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, you know what I forgot to mention during our Deadpool trailer segment was the Spider-Man thing. Because I just saw somebody in the live chat mention, wait a second, what was with the Spider-Man thing? So if you watch closely in the trailer, I don't know, Jonathan, if you have this. So you have Deadpool, that's the first shot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the second
And then
one.
this one.
Yeah.
Oop.
Yeah, you have Deadpool like literally doing the Spider-Man web shooting thing. Now, here's why this is funny. It's funny to me because there was a theory going around. Now, I'm not saying this adds any validity to it. I'm just saying, a couple weeks ago, when the one trailer came out where we first saw Deadpool and Wolverine in a car, there was a theory going around that some people thought Spider-Man was in the back seat. I don't know what that theory was based on, to be honest, because I saw nothing, absolutely nothing to justify that, but that was a theory that was making its rounds a little bit.
For all we know, he's like, it's so cool you can pop claws out of your. I wish I could shoot something like webs, and it's
Yeah.
just like some meta joke.
But
Yeah.
but no, that was before this. So all that was
Oh.
before this. So this was weeks ago that there was some whispers going around that Spider-Man was in the car. Again, there was nothing to justify that. So it's just kind of funny now that this image comes out in this trailer where you actually see him in there doing Spider thing. Again, I do not believe that gives validity to the old whispers and rumors. It's just kind of funny that there were whispers that Spider-Man might be in the car. And then we see this with Deadpool imitating Spider-Man, which I think is kind of funny. All right, what's next?
Let's see. Oh, we're going on to members.
All right. Jonathan says, hello from Cincinnati, Ohio. Superman begins filming at my museum tomorrow. I'm so excited to have the Hall of Justice in my hometown. Is it reasonable to expect more projects will be shot there?
Well, listen, if James Gunn really enjoys, look, it's like Marvel, right? Marvel shoots so much in Atlanta. They shoot because, and so if James Gunn likes his experience, because they've been shooting a lot in Ohio, they were shooting in Cleveland for a long time. Now they're moving over to Cincinnati. If James Gunn really enjoys his experience there and he thinks that production works well with the local governments and all that kind of stuff, maybe we'll see DC shoot a lot of stuff there. Hopefully they do. All right, what's next?
Is it Kicking Wing?
Chicken wing. Yeah.
Says, I may or may not work at a movie theater. I also may or may not have seen all of the Deadpool collectible stuff. I also may or may not have plans to watch it when we're not open on Wednesday and Thursday, as well as having a Dolby ticket for Thursday night.
I'll tell you what.
You may or may not be doing some fun stuff.
When I was at AMC, I got to meet this wonderful woman who was the general manager of the AMC Tyler Galleria in Riverside, which is where I go to most of my movies now. And she's not there anymore, unfortunately. But she would invite me from time to time to come to the staff screenings of movies. So one of the little perks you'll of course have if you work at these theaters, sometimes they'll have staff only screenings a little bit early. So you may or may not want to extend me an invitation to be your guest at this thing. I'm just throwing that out there. All right, what's next?
Stephanie
Yeah.
Mitchell says, "Hi team, saw Twisters last night at an advanced screening and it was loads of fun. Saw it in the Dolby at my AMC and the seats were rattling. I'm
Yes.
seeing it again in 4DX this weekend. I hope you guys enjoy your showing tonight. And remember, if you can feel it, chase it."
Well, we're not seeing it tonight. We're seeing it tomorrow afternoon. Right after we're done the show tomorrow, we're going to go see it. Ray's very disappointed.
I woke up this morning and I texted because I was so excited. I thought it was today. It's tomorrow. It's not that long. I should have my own little graphic that shows Twisters how many hours until our showing instead of days. It's going to be soon. I can't
We
wait.
are 25 hours and 15 minutes
There you go.
away from our 4DX screening of Twisters tomorrow. I'm very excited about it.
until John walks out of the screening.
I still have no idea why you think I would walk out of a screening.
You're going to walk out, man.
All right. All right, what's next?
Benji the
Oh, sorry.
Amen Mash says, "Now that we have gotten Inside Out 2, which other Pixar film that doesn't already have a sequel do you think should/could get one? I would personally love a direct sequel to Monsters, Inc. with an older Boo. Not older, also with the huge box office. Disney and Pixar are def going to do an Inside Out 3.
There's no doubt they're going to do an Inside Out 3. And of course they should. Clearly the audience wants it. The audience wants more of these characters. So absolutely they will do that. I don't know that I can think of one that hasn't had a sequel. Like Monsters Inc., although it was a prequel, there have been multiple Monsters Inc. movies, right? So we've had multiple Incredibles movies, although I would still love an Incredibles 3. With the kids actually a little more grown up now. I think that would be great. Toy Story obviously has many of them. I don't want to see an Ant Life. Bugs Life, I
Bugs
mean.
Life.
I don't think I want to see
Or
I keep
Ants.
confusing that with Ants.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in, I like Bugs Life. Don't get me wrong. I really like Bugs Life, but I'm not interested in a sequel. I loved Soul, but I don't want to see a sequel to Soul. You know what? Okay. Yeah. Turning Red. I would love to see Turning Red too. Turning Red should have won Best Animated Film of the Year at the Oscars. I'll go, but that's about it.
You know, last week, and I meant to mention, I was starting to catch up on Disney stuff that I missed. I watched Luca, which was okay. Probably never watched it
Luca.
again.
It was
It's
good.
It was
all
okay.
right.
Watched Turning Red. That was good. And I watched Soul, and I thought Soul was amazing.
Yeah.
I
Soul
love
was
Soul.
really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Sir Malsten says, "Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have made stops in China and South Korea to promote Deadpool. Are international appearances the secret to marketing success?"
Appearances.
Yeah, in general.
Appearances in general. Listen, there's not a lot of movies that get cleared to play in China. I actually did an entire editorial video about China and the kind of demystifying why certain movies can play in China and why a lot of movies can't play in China. You know what? I'll see. Obviously, it's not there right now, but we'll see. I'll get the link to that. If you're interested in this, I'll get the link to it and we'll put it in the show notes in the description of the video if you guys want to see that later. But at any rate, and a lot of Marvel movies have not been allowed to play in China. Most movies don't get to play in China. So they decided to make this a really big deal. Like, I have a feeling, first of all, we were all surprised that China was going to let Deadpool play there. Like, that was a surprise in and of itself. I wonder if part of them allowing Deadpool to go and play there included send Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman over. Send them over here to promote the film here and give, Chinese movie fans. I don't know, but that's kind of a thought. All right, what's next?
Arun says, "Over and under 30%, where the lady Deadpool is Ryan himself.
0.
It'll be like making fun of Sylvie and Loki."
Yeah, but no, 0. I mean, no.
Yeah.
I think it's Blake Lively. I'm going to go with that. Yeah. I'm going to stick with Blake Lively on this, and that's who I think it's going to be. All right, what's next?
Cam Plays says, I honestly don't think there'll be that much problem with Percy Jackson. Like, say, Stranger Things, each book has an entire year in between, so you would expect to see some change each season. But do you think we should worry or not worry?
Yeah, a year, but not 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, this is a problem with streaming TV shows in general. They've got to get more on this, like completely. If you really want stuff to get, like, if Game of Thrones could have a show every year, like, why can't you? It's just something they've really got to address. All right, what's next?
David Coca says, with seeing the footage of Tiamat and Captain 4 trailer and the rumor of the storyline having to do with there being adamantium, I think Giancarlo Esposito will be playing William Stryker.
Look, William Stryker has been a lot of people's theories, and then Giancarlo Esposito said nobody's theories have been right. So that's why that might take out George Washington Bridge and why it may take out William Stryker. Also, the thing for me is, while you can use him anywhere, I think Stryker is a character you introduce with X-Men. I don't think he's a character you introduce in a Captain America movie. Doesn't mean they can't. I just think they would hold on to that. All right, what's next?
All right. Culture Wars Diplomacy.
Culture Wars Diplomacy says, anyone looking forward to the Red Sonja movie coming out?
Is it even coming out?
Yeah, I keep forgetting like that's even a thing, and if it's confirmed or whatever. I mean,
So no, the answer is no.
good with some good marketing, yes, but no. For
Yeah,
now.
at this point, no. All right, what's next?
Dominic Summer says, which movie do you think has a better chance to actually get made and released first? The Ray movie with Daisy Ridley or the Blade movie with Ali?
God, you know what? I had an answer and then I don't within that span of the question. That's how
It's
scary.
a very good question. Well, I mean, really, we can probably answer this question next Saturday after the Marvel
that's true.
presentation.
That's true.
I'll
Blade is
lean
more-
towards Blade.
Blade is more developed. I mean, they started shooting at some point. They've got.
They don't
more
have a
than-
writer or director right now.
I know, but it's more than Ray. Ray's just.
Ray's got a
dream.
director.
You say Ray's just a dream.
Ray's has a director, but doesn't have a script or
I have a feeling
or
this
other actors other than the
question
main
was
character.
just targeted at me.
All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here and making this little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Don't forget to come on back and join us tomorrow. In the meantime, I want to thank the people in the room with me, Ray Ora,
See you tomorrow.
Jonathan Voico,
Blade?
Paris Rose.
Adios.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.